Hello and a very warm welcome to the rhythm volume. This is video 1 of the rhythm volume. We are going to talk about rhythm, which, as we have learned, largely stems from technical stuff. So what we're going to do first thing is we're going to look into quarter note rhythms, eighth note rhythms and 16th note rhythms. Then we're going to look into how to build a groove. We're going to look into grooves including technical elements and, of course, inevitably, the wonderful subject of syncopation. In principle, a rhythm or a groove is determined on the value of the note. So if you play this is a quarter note rhythm because your bass drum and your snare play nothing but quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you forget the hi-hat doesn't count in this case. If you play eighth, it's called an eighth note rhythm, okay? And if you start to work in 16th, it's called a 16th note rhythm. When you play this, your hi-hat is performing 16th, which actually qualifies as a 16th note rhythm, because if you go and work, people will say, can you play 16th in your hi-hat? Therefore, we are talking about 16th note rhythm. Now, rhythm is important. You must count. When you count, it almost turns into independence because you have to count whilst you play, which is difficult. But only when you actually count can you determine what you do. So, let's do this. This is a quarter note rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I've shifted the bass drum and I deliberately played it on the 3, on the 1 and on the 3, only on the 3 and only on the 1, which is a quarter note rhythm. I do the same with eighth note rhythm. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 I can do anything I like as long as it includes eighth between snare drum and bass drum. Of course, it all starts to get a little bit more interesting when we're talking about 16th note rhythms. So we are basing all the rhythms we are going to play in this particular volume on eighth in your hi-hat. So your hi-hat has to be trained, as a matter of fact your right hand in this case, has to be trained to continuously play eighth. These are eighths, but it is recommended to have a little bit of an accent there to make it more groovy. I'm going to do this with my left hand because I'm a left-handed drummer. Here we go. So we are starting with 4/16. We are going back to the original page of the 16th note figures and we are going to put them into our bass drum first. This is how we do. Four 16th on the 1 and on the 3. Here we go. The first 3 out of 4, 1 E and the next figure. And so on. Not going to go through all the figures, but this is the principle. Play it on the 1, stop on the 2, play it on the 3, stop on the 4. The same counts for your two hands. So you're going to play your 8th, and then you're going to play 16th in your right hand on your snare. Well, in your left hand, in my right hand. You can essentially play 16/16th, but I would like you to have a 2 and a 4 accent in it. I'll take the tempo down a little bit. Okay. Let's try and combine bass drum and snare drum. On the 1 is the bass drum, on the 2 is the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? This is the basics of all the stuff. When you go through the page, you will realize some things are easy for you, some things are not so easy for you. When you are a drummer, it is my recommendation to focus on the things that you cannot do. simply because you cannot do them. If you play around, if you fool around, and you stand upon the things you can do, you're wasting your time. You have to focus on things you can't do. Okay, now, talking about 16th note rhythm, we have already covered that in the technical thing, in the technical volume. When you start to play a single stroke roll, and this falls right into the context of rhythm. Again, okay. Now remember, any technical motion can be played between your hand and your bass drum. So when you, for example, play that, you take your hi-hat away and you've got a single stroke roll. That happens in between your bass drum and your left hand. In terms of independence, it's the diagonal independence. You get your bass drum, you get your hi-hat back, you go on the 2 and on the 4. Now you play 8th in your bass drum, you play the E and the A in your left hand, and the hi-hat follows the bass drum. Now we go and introduce 16th. You're gonna play around with your hands. Okay, this qualifies as a 16th note rhythm. That means that anything you do that includes 16th notes with a 2 and a 4. Let's focus for the moment about 2 and 4. We're going to look into syncopation in a little while. And in the next volume, we're going to look in how to actually build a groove and what you need to do to build a groove. It's been a great pleasure. I hope it was okay for you. It was wonderful for me. Go practice. Thank you very much. Have a good day. God bless you. Bye.